So we're gonna make some soap this morning, and this is how we get our lard ready. I actually got fat. There's a little bit of meat on there, but it won't hurt nothing. It'll come out when we screen it. We buy this fat off a local farmer, lard fat. Actually, we're a CSA member of his. So we got to cut it into chunks. It'd work better if you had a grinder to grind it, but this here works pretty good. And that's how it comes. It just comes in a bag, frozen. We got to put it in here and render it down. So once this renders down, then we'll make soap out of it. We rendered a little bit down yesterday, but it's not enough. That there's rendered down, but it's not quite enough. We're about a pound short of what we need to be. All right, I got everything measured out. I got the lye here. Of course, we use food grade lye. You gotta be careful with that stuff. Then the lard, this lard here is already, we rendered this down yesterday. This here is what we're rendering down now. We have enough to make a batch for sure rendered out of that. Plus that, we just gotta run through a screen. And I got our water, the water part of it's in the freezer right now, getting cold, staying cold rather. We always put a little bit of ice in the water when we do it, because when you mix the lye with the water, it gets really hot. And you gotta be between 90 and 120 degrees when you do it. So when you do all of it, when the lard gets to that temperature, it pretty much turns clear when you get to that temperature with the lard. Right now it's about 118 roughly. So it's about ready. I'll take it off when I weigh it here in a little bit. And then this I know is not enough for a batch. This what is in here, I'll dip some of that out with a ladle and put it in what I need in with it. So yeah, I'll be screening it here very shortly and putting the ingredients together. Right now the wife went out to check for eggs, and as soon as she comes in to give me a hand, we'll start this process. Like I said a minute ago, I got this, I put 8 ounces of ice in it, and then do the rest with water, and I stuck it in the freezer because she was out getting eggs. So when you stick this in, that's toxic stuff. It actually stinks. We'll crack the window. It ain't as bad when you do it with cold water, but it heats up. That ice will melt pretty quick. You just got to pour this in slowly. Notice the ice is melting already. When you get milky, I'm going to quit pouring in. Just stir for a little bit. Normally when we do this after we're done, we take this outside because it gets some pretty nasty stinking fumes in the house. And it heats up. Now the ice is pretty much all gone. It got that hot that it melted all that ice. Most all. There's one little spot left in there yet. One thing I've noticed too after doing this several times, when you use ice in the bottom of it, it doesn't clump together. A lot of times before I started putting ice in there, the first time or two we made it, I didn't use ice, and it would actually clump together, and it would be hard to stir it in. When you do ice, it ain't as hard. This year's we're gonna put coffee in this soap. It's gonna be like a hand scrub. This soap will be ready in about 3 weeks on our online store. We have plain soap on there now, but this will be coffee soap. We're going to make some shampoo bars too. It'll be available in about 3 or 4 weeks. We're waiting on some of the ingredients to come for that, and some face creams, lotions. This is all done by weight. None of it's done by volume. Everything's measured by weights when you're doing this. And you stir it in. This here will get clear. I'm gonna check the temperature to show you. See, it's 152 degrees. And you saw the ice in there, and it all melted. And now it's 152, 151. It gets hot. I don't know how it does that. I don't know what the reaction is, but it definitely gets hot. So now I'm gonna take this outside and put it out on the porch. It's like 19 degrees outside. So rendered down yesterday. I'm just gonna run it through that wire mesh, and I need 4 pounds 7 ounces of lard. And I know this isn't quite enough because I weighed it yesterday. And just see all the chunks in it. Gotta make sure you get all that stuff out of there. It wouldn't necessarily hurt anything, but you don't want it in your soap.
Just have chunky soap.
Chunky soap. You're gonna have chunky soap anyways because we're gonna put coffee grounds in it to make a hand scrub. So.
What's a little more chunks?
I mean, exactly. What's a little more chunks? It ain't gonna hurt you. So then you got just bits of gristle that wouldn't melt.
Kind of looks like applesauce.
I wouldn't. Yeah, it probably does. I mean, it kind of does. And it really, it wouldn't hurt you to eat it, but I still ain't gonna try it. Just want to get all of it out of the can.
Hate to waste.
Hate to waste. And also this here stuff right here, when you put this on top of chicken feed, they go insane over this stuff right here. They will kill each other for that fat. Ain't quite that bad, but it's close. And I'm not going to say this right here wouldn't have melted down. It may would have, may wouldn't have, but it ain't worth the time it takes to get it to melt. Right now I'm just going to dump this back in that little pan that I have in the sink until we get the chicken feed ready for tomorrow. Then tomorrow the chickens will eat that.
And then they will say thank you.
Yes. Right now our weight is 4 pounds 2 ounces. I need 5 more ounces roughly. And the reason I put this back in is because I zeroed it with that. Zeroed the scale with the bowl and the strainer in there. So now I need 5 ounces. I'm just going to get the ladle and make a mess in the kitchen so the wife gets happy with me. She likes when you make a mess. I'm sure all your wives do. Like when you make a mess in the kitchen and let it for them to clean up.
No.
And there's some chunks in here too that's not melted, but it's broke up. You can see there that. But as you saw earlier, there was some meat on that fat, and that meat won't render down. It's a little heavy, but there's stuff in there that I'll let that like that for right now. until I make sure I got all the greasy, grimy gopher guts out of this stuff and see what it weighs. Now, if I dip a little bit out, I have to dip a little bit out. And it's half an ounce heavy. I think we're probably going to be all right with a half ounce heavy. I'm not going to worry about it. All right, we're set up. Our temperatures are down below 120, and they're still above. Let me put my pants up. And they're still above. I don't know if you can see that in there or not. This is 116, 117, bouncing around a little bit for the Lord. And the lie is at 108. Need to be above 90, but below. Above 90, but below 120. So. I know it still feels kind of warm on the thing, but that's all right though. Then we got to use an immersion blender. And I'll mix this while she pours that in slowly.
I got my gloves on because I got the...
She got the lye.
Very slowly.
And if you notice, whenever we're pouring that in and mixing it, it's turning white. All the lye's in. It actually might thicken up quicker than I thought it was gonna. It's actually starting to get a trace already. Starting to. It's not there yet, but and by trace that means just you can see the lines in there. When you pull that out, it leaves a trace, which it's starting to leave a trace. It's not where we usually get it at. It's really close. So right now my lovely assistant, aka my beautiful bride, is going to put coffee in here. One scoop at a time. And that coffee will act as grit. When you wash your hands, it'll actually scrub your hands like a pumice or whatever they call it in the cleaner.
I got a measuring spoon, a coffee measuring spoon, so we're going to keep track so we know to put it on a recipe how much it actually took.
Say one more, and that'll be it.
That looks pretty good.
It does. Probably could have did away with the last scoop, but that'll work out.
We used three of them scoops.
Yeah, so 3 cups of coffee worth.
Looks pretty nice.
It does, looks good. It's almost ready to pour. Right, these are our molds. I'll just pour this in. See how talented I ain't. If you use a bowl with a rim on it, it doesn't spill as much. If you use a bowl without this lip on the outside edge, it'll run back the bowl.
We know this from experience.
Yeah.
The first time it was very messy.
Yeah, somebody made a mess, and I got blamed for it. I don't know why.
It was all him.
I get blamed for a lot of stuff,
But that lip, it definitely saves.
I wanted one with a spout on it, and she didn't get one with a spout. She got one with a lip, which is fine. It works just as good.
And that was perfect amount.
It always is.
For
2 batches.
2 for 2 molds.
Yep.
Took it, as you see, clear up to the top.
Yep. You can scrape more out of it, but it ain't worth my aggravation. So then I'll, last couple times I've been just shaking it down like that. You'll have little ripples on the top, that's fine. This mold here, for some reason, caves in on the side a little bit. It has since we gotten it, but it still turns out pretty good bars. Now we'll let this set for about 24 hours. Pop it out of there and cut it up, and we'll probably just make it short when we cut it up. But this is how we make our soup. So, I'm gonna wrap this video up. Like I said earlier, get on and check out our online store. We have soap, we have some lip balms, we have cornmeal, garlic, and a few other things, odds and ends. We can ship it to you, or you can stop in here and pick it up on Friday afternoons. I'm not sure the times.
Just order online, and
the times are on the page when you can pick up here. And as we get more stuff, which we're going to start making more of this kind of stuff, we're going to make some shampoo bars and some face creams, and probably going to dabble in deodorant. We're going to see how that works. Me personally, I use deodorant made from tallow. We're going to try to make some out of lard and see how it works out, and if we like it, if I like it, then we'll sell it. If I don't, then we'll change our recipe and figure something else out. But
we try it out first for
yeah,
like a week
we'll
or
try it
two
out
to
first.
see if we even like it.
Even this we'll try out before we put it on our store.
Yeah.
I'll try it for a couple of days before I'll just let anybody else buy it. But anyways, that's going to wrap this up. So please follow, like, and share our videos. Until we meet again, take care and God bless.